So on the court, I'm able to channel things a lot better, or handle situations better. For example, missing shots and not hanging my head, or a ref, not getting mad about that, not getting upset about not playing as much, or maybe someone yelling in the stands. I'm able to channel that a lot better. Off the court, I'm just it got me out of my comfort zone a little, and being able to talk about things basketball wise, which I really liked.
This is the Mental Mettle Podcast, where we explore how to forge mental toughness and resilience in every aspect of life. Welcome, I'm your host, Coach Matt Thomann. I'm an ICF certified professional coach with a background as a teacher, basketball coach, and athletic director. But my journey took a dramatic turn in 2020 when I survived both cancer and a stroke. Those experiences shaped my mission, help others grow stronger in every facet of life. Today, I work with athletes, coaches, educators, and anyone who believes that positive mental health is both achievable and a personal responsibility. This podcast is dedicated to helping listeners develop a positive version of toughness, one rooted in resilience, focus, and growth. Whether you're looking to excel on the field, in the classroom, or in life, this is your space to learn, grow, and take action. Join me on this journey, and together, let's forge your mettle. Welcome back, metalheads. It's the Mental Mettle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Matt Thomann. I'm excited you're here. It's a really good episode. It's one I've been thinking about doing for a while. Just haven't got around to it. It's an interesting episode because I got 4 guests on here. Each one of them talks for a little bit, not as long as a usual guest. But the reason I got them guests on here these are 4 clients of mine, student athletes, or in one case, just an athlete because he's a pro athlete. And they're on here talking about, from their perspective, how mental performance coaching helps them. I do a lot of talking on this podcast, and I talk to coaches. I've even had some clients on here, but we really don't get into the specifics too much on how it works and what it does, and the mental performance coaching and why it's so important and what the benefits that they see are from their perspective. I talk about it all the time, but I'm trying to sell something, quite honestly, right? So it's easy. It's so great to hear from them, and I love talking to them, not in a session perspective, but just understanding what they're seeing out of it from their side of things. And as to why you should listen to this, even if you're not a parent or an athlete, so even the coaches that listen to us, it's really important to hear it from the athlete's perspective, because if you're involved in sports somehow, whether you're the athlete, the parent, or the coach, or an administrator, or whatever, if you're involved in athletics, and quite honestly, you probably are in some capacity, or you wouldn't be listening to this show. If you're involved in some way, hearing the perspective of an athlete on how important mental toughness and mental awareness and mental health is, and what kind of a difference it makes, it's worth listening to. Because if we say, hey, this stuff is a problem, this is something we need to get better at, then it's on all of us to fix it, right? So pay attention to a little bit of how it works, okay? And, a little bit about my background on how I know it works, other than talking to these athletes that I work with. A little bit of my background, if you don't know it already, is, I've been an athlete, I've been a coach, I've been an administrator, I've been a teacher. So the only thing I haven't done is be a ref, really, because I'm a parent as well. And so I understand it a lot, but I understand the mental part because of the struggles that I went through as an administrator when I had some very serious physical health issues, cancer, and then a stroke that left me unable to speak very well, and couldn't really communicate. And I had a lot of mental health issues with that, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And that kind of turned into even more physical issues. And it was the positive psychology, some therapy, and some coaching that got me out of this, right? So much so that I decided to become eventually, or wanted to be a life coach. That was actually my mom, Ruth Tomann's idea when we were trying to figure out what I wanted to do the rest of my life, because I didn't know that I really wanted to do administration anymore, because I struggled to even speak and communicate, and it was going to be rough. We thought maybe this would be a stopgap. I could do this for a while. Well, now I do it all the time. So anyway, I went in and got my coaching certification, and now I'm a certified ICF professional coach. And when I always ask you, well, what's your clientele? Because you got to kind of zone in and narrow down on what your clientele is. And I immediately started leaning into athletics because it was the world I came from. I understood it, and I saw all the stuff that I was doing and how important that would be for athletes, not just for their success on the field, but after that. And that's really something that I really leaned into. What I understood was, and what I know better now, is how important that mental part is. And the best way I can explain it is, and I say this all the time, is that if you want to be really successful at a sport and get the most out of it, there's 3 skill sets you need to have. You need to have your game skills, whatever sport that is, basketball, baseball, volleyball, soccer, I don't care. You need the actual skills to play that game. That's a no-brainer. That's old school. That was all they used to do. Right? That's what my dad, when he went to college, that's all they did. They didn't want to do anything else. They didn't lift or anything like that. By the time I went to college, we knew that you needed to work on that second skill set, which is the physical part. Bigger, faster, stronger. Had to get in the weight room. Still have to have the game skills. Still got to be able to shoot and contain, still be able to shoot, but also get stronger, right? Because why wouldn't that help, right? So by the time I got there, we started working on that. Now it's starting to change, and we start to realize the third skill set is really important. My son now plays college basketball. They definitely do 1 and 2, but they're starting to do number 3. The really good programs, pros, colleges, and now some high schools. I work with a lot of them, and others are starting to do different ways. They're working on that third skill set, which is the mental skills. And quite honestly, that's important because of the 3 skill sets that your kid will learn from athletics, it is the one that's most transferable once they're done playing. The physical skills are good for being healthy. Of course, you want that. But you don't need to be quite in the shape that you are for playing your sport. The game skills, I don't know, unless you're going to do pickup games or something else, they kind of, they really don't have a lot of use beyond it. What we want is that third skill set, that mental skills. And I think that the old school way, and you might be saying it right now, is, well, yeah, but they get that on their own. Maybe, maybe not. A lot of kids by age 13, 70% of kids quit sports. So maybe it's not such a given. And even kids in college are having issues now. The NCAA says since COVID, it's like double the amount of mental health problems they're seeing in their athletes. So it's not just a given that they're going to develop the right skills, the mental skills. Some kids have number 1 and 2 skill sets, their game skills and their physical abilities, on lockdown so much that they can still perform, but maybe they're not getting the most out of it mentally, and actually it's damaging them mentally. So it could be that, but we are best when we're doing all 3. And number 3, the skill sets, the mental skills, is what transfers the most. And that's what we want. And that's what we're trying to do, but we can't just assume that it's going to be done right. And that when I talk about these mental skills and some of the stuff that I do with the mental performance coaching with athletes, it's stuff like increasing their focusing on the controllables, and actually putting more effort into what they need to do and understanding why that's important, working on their confidence, skills and tools to an exercise to help them build that confidence, rather than just the confidence they get from winning and practicing a lot, which is good, but we can bolster that. Working on their positive self-talk, all sorts of things. Okay. Gratitude, perspective. We do all these things, and it starts to add and change their mindset over time. And it helps them in their sport, but it helps them be better players, better people, and ultimately better members of society. There's a lot of studies out there. Harvard has done stuff about like the longer a kid plays, the better employee they're going to make, the more stress relief abilities they're going to have. They're going to be better husbands, fathers, mothers, wives, all those things. It's all beneficial if we're making it that long and we're actually building those mental skills along with the rest. So such a really important part of it. That's what I do now. That's what I'm working with a lot of individuals. I do some team stuff too, but a lot of it is working with those individuals. And what's really interesting here is you're going to notice on these athletes today, because I get this a lot. People will come to me and say, well, I know a kid that really needs your help. It's not about a kid that quote unquote needs my help. Now, I have had kids that have were really struggling anxiety and didn't even want to go to practice and stuff like that. Of course, I work with that kid all the time. I do that. But you're going to notice that these athletes that I have here on today, these are really good athletes, really successful athletes. And they were successful when they came to talk to me. They maybe had one or two things they were struggling with, maybe in a slump, but they were successful before and just needed to get a little bit more of an edge, a little bit more advantage, because they knew they weren't getting everything they could out of their sport. It's not just about helping somebody who has an issue. So one of the ways I talk about the mental performance training. So if you break an ankle or something like that, you go to a doctor, right? That's something on the physical side. But you know that you can also go to a personal trainer to get stronger, so that maybe you don't have injuries as much. We know that. We do that all the time. So a lot of times people are saying, well, I'll wait till I have a mental issue to go see a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or whatever, if it's a really issue. And you can do that. You can wait till you break an ankle from a mental perspective, right? Where something's really broke and we need to go get some serious help. Or you can work with a mental performance coach who actually strengthens those mental muscles so you don't get injured, so you don't have that. And it's about, a lot of what I do is about prevention, making sure this issue doesn't go worse, because it can get worse. Like I was talking about, some really good college athletes really struggle, and we see it all the time. We're like, oh, that kid had everything going for him, right? And they had all these mental issues, and we just assumed that they were winning games and getting scholarships, that they were fine. It's not necessarily the case, right? So it's something we want to work with on our athletes. That's what I want everybody to notice. I really want you to pay attention to some of the stuff that they talk about, some of the skills that they work on, some of the exercises we do. Each kid is a little bit different in some of the stuff they talk about, but there's definitely some similarities. I'll jump on after each one and kind of give a little translation of what they say and what they're talking about, because there's a lot of personal stuff. So they might bring up some acronyms or something like that you don't even know what they're talking about, right? Well, because it means something to them, right? And that's kind of what's really cool about the mental performance coaching, is that it's like very personal and very specific to each athlete. It's what they need in the moment, and it's helping them get from where they are to where they want to be. And that's my goal. And you can hear one kid say that too. It's really cool to hear him say this. I'm so excited to have him on, because it's just, they're really good kids doing really good things. And I love hearing and seeing that the work that I'm doing is helping them. And I think that it's a really good thing to have on the podcast, so that you guys see this, hear this, and why that's so important to be focusing on that third skill set and what we see. So we're going to jump in, and here we go with some of the mental performance clients of Mental Mettle Coaching. Your athlete probably spends hours working on the specific skill set they need for their sport. And they probably spend hours in the weight room building their body. But how much time do they spend intentionally training their mind? Well, building mindset is the key to bridging the gap between the skills that we see and game execution. Well, Mental Mettle Coaching provides individual programs that can help your athlete develop this third and crucial skill set. All right, Anson, you ready to go, man?
Yes, sir.
All right, Anson. let me start by you introducing yourself. Tell me a little bit. I know you, right? But
Yeah.
like, give me the lowdown.
Anson Zaiser. I go to Washington Community High School. I'm a junior and I play baseball and hockey.
Nice. All right, that's a short and sweet. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, give me some expectation. What were coming into the coaching when like that first session coming in? What were your expectations? What were your what were you looking for out of the coaching?
I was just looking for a place to start. Like I was struggling. I was just looking for a place to start to clear my head and like get stuff to not get in my head as much, and like just strive as a person too, like being able to control certain situations and whatnot.
Yeah, no, I like that. Getting out of your own head, having a
Yeah,
little bit, controlling your own head a little bit, right?
yeah.
Is what you're talking about. So, what are some of the, what were some of the exercises we've done? What are some of your favorites? What stuck with you?
Definitely the breathing, deep breaths. Uh, those are that's one that I never forget. In like 4 games, I like the visualizing. I use that a lot, and then like self confidence, like knowing the work that I've put in to get where I've gotten so far, and just remembering those things.
Okay, those are a few different. Those are like 3 or 4 different exercises you've brought up
Yeah,
there. It's good. It's good that you're remembering those, that you're using them. That means that we're doing something. We're doing
yeah.
something right. Yeah. What's the benefits you've picked up from doing these
Um,
exercises?
Even if I'm struggling, like my mental state stays a lot better. I'm not getting in my head as much. And it's like if something goes wrong, one thing goes wrong, not everything's gonna go wrong. Then I can still keep it afloat and stay strong through it, mentally strong.
Yeah, I don't know much about hockey, but I know that baseball is really big about, like, you can get in slumps real easy.
Yeah. Mhm.
That was kind of like when we started. That was kind of what was going on, right?
Yeah.
So what is your mindset about this performance coaching? I don't know what it was when you started. I know you told me what your goal was and stuff, but how's your mindset changed a little bit about it, about yourself, anything?
I mean, when my parents asked me if I want to do it, I was like, I mean, I don't really care. I'll try it. But I mean, now like I love it. Like if my friends like ask me like how you just like stay so calm, I was like, I talked to you, like you gave me stuff to do and like it helped a lot.
So that's something that you like. Your friends have even noticed the change in the way you handle yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic. It's great when you see it, but when others come up to you and say something, that's fantastic.
Hmm.
So on other people, what would you say to an athlete? What's the advice, or what would you say to an athlete that's maybe considering doing this?
Definitely do it. It helps a lot. Not even just with the sport, but like stuff outside of sports it helps with too. Just everyday stuff.
Okay. All right. We miss anything?
I don't think so.
All right. Fantastic, Anson. That's all I needed you for, man.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Anson. All right, so that was Anson Zaiser. Anson is a really cool one for me to talk about for a couple of reasons. You're going to hear me talk about something from each one of my clients that I come on with, and I want to make it really clear. I am not taking credit for their success, but I'm going to talk a little bit about their success because I want you to all understand that the stuff that I'm working, it helps. Again, it's a third skill set. It's that third thing we're working on. And anytime we add a skill set and add an ability, things get better. We succeed more. We get better. And I'm not taking credit for their success, but I'm always going to bring up what kind of success they're having so that you can understand that, yeah, they're getting more mentally healthy, which is probably our goal, should be our goal, but they're also having success in their sport. And that's worthwhile. So Anson's on the Washington high school in Washington, Illinois, and they just won the Mid-Illini Conference Championship, and Anson's a player on that team, so he's doing just fine. And what's really cool about Anson, you'll notice in that interview, he was talking about doing breathing exercises and visualizing exercises and things like that. This is a high school boy, teenager that is playing baseball and hockey. And he's talking about doing these breathing exercises and these visualization exercises. It's interesting because I think a lot of people, I talk to coaches, I talk to parents, and they think, well, the kids will think this is silly and awkward. And it might at first. It might feel awkward at first to stop and purposely do breathing exercises and doing visualization exercises about seeing yourself getting up to the plate and doing things right. And it kind of gets a, I don't know, we laugh at it. It gets this stigma that it's kind of silly. And I've got a high school kid. And when I say a hockey player, Anson is not just a hockey player. Anson is the enforcer on his team. I love it. I absolutely love it to know that I've got a kid that I'm working with, that he's on my client roster, and I get in there and I'll see videos of him in hockey and having to stand up for his teammates, and standing up for your teammates in hockey is getting in a fist fight. And I just love that the same kid that is asked and called to do that, and Anson does some outfield, but he also does some catching, and he's a hockey enforcer. He's this tough kid. He's a very tough kid. And he's more than happy to sit down with me and talk about breathing exercises and visualizing exercises, and also to come on a show and say, this is really helpful for me, helping me calm down and do these things. Can't say enough about Anson willing to do that and just admitting that I had trouble clearing my head and this stuff really helps me. It's really good. And I love that he saw that his friends see him being a little bit calmer than he used to be. I love seeing that. It's great stuff. Yeah. So very, very, appreciative of Anson coming on. He's a great kid doing great things. Coaches, do you dream of guiding mentally tough athletes towards a championship? Kids that are resilient, persistent, and unshaken by setbacks. Well, in today's world, those athletes aren't born. They have to be developed. Many athletes face significant challenges and risk burnout. So how do we foster that mental toughness without overwhelming them? Well, introducing the Ember to Inferno program, Building Mentally Tough Athletes. This series is designed specifically for coaches, offering a deep dive into your own journey of mental toughness and equipping you with practical tools to build confidence and belief in your athletes. Rather than just simply adding more adversity to their life, we focus on creating a strong foundation for mental resilience. You'll learn how to transform a spark of motivation into a blazing fire of toughness, using techniques that address challenges like social media pressures, athletic stress, and trauma. Don't just wish for mentally tough athletes, build them. Join the Ember to Inferno program today and ignite the potential in your athletes. For more information, contact me, Coach Thomann, at Mental Mettle Coaching. All right. How we doing, Remi?
We're doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So start for everybody. This entire episode here is just about, I want to hear from some of the kids that I do some coaching with, and it's good for everybody to know that, like, I don't always go around and tell everybody who I'm working with, who I'm not, and everything, but you agreed to do this, and you're a great sport for doing this, and I sure appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell everybody a little bit about, as much as you're comfortable, who you are, what you do, what you play, and give us a little bit of background on you.
Right. So I'm Remi Werden. I'm a junior in high school, 17 years old. I'm a softball player. I catch. I'm behind the plate. So I'm a former multi-sport athlete. So I've had that going, but right now I'm just focusing on softball. So that's just a little bit about me.
Awesome. I do. I love one of my favorite things when I started working with you is that you are a catcher, because there's always so much going on, right? From the mental part of everything with catching, which is great. So on when you decided to start doing some sessions, do some coaching, talk to me a little bit about why you decided to do that, or why your parents did, and what your expectations were leading up to it.
Right. So the process early on is me and my parents had that conversation. We've talked about how sometimes confidence can be a struggle. Sometimes mentally there's a block missing, or there's something I need to work on mentally. So that that conversation's always been there. So when looking for a coach and someone to help me for my mental level of the game, I think expectations are always going to be good. I think looking at it, it's going to be beneficial. There's nothing bad or something to worry about, really. I think in the long terms, I knew it was going to be beneficial for me. So
I think that it's good that you say that, because I think that I've heard some coaches say, and I've heard some other people say that, like, they're worried that you're going to it's going to mess with your mind and make things worse.
exactly. I think that is a big worry, is that, I mean, coaches are mainly going to be there for the physical aspect and the physical game itself, but nobody's really diving in deeper on the mental level of the game. So this has really been helpful for that.
Yeah. And it's not, and it's not going to make it worse.
Absolutely. It's only going to be better. So
yeah. So far, and you and I've been working, it's been several months now. I didn't go back to look, but probably 4 or 5 months here. What's been some of the favorite things that we've done together, and some of the tools and exercises you've done that you've picked up on that you're still using?
yes. So many of the exercises, there's some that are simple, surface level, like journaling. I think it's simple, it's little things, but here we go. So it's simple, it's little things, but it really helps me to get my mind straight and layered out. And then kind of, we've been big on the ACE method, the ACE method of attitude, communication, effort. It's always been a big one. I don't have it with me, but my little ACE playing card. It's like a physical thing that I can keep with me in my softball bag. I can keep with me on the go. So it's things like that where I have a physical reminder for something I can have a deeper meaning for.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things, is that it's yes, you have this physical reminder, and that was something that, and that is unique. I've not done that with anybody else. That was just through a conversation that we had that came together, and then I was like, man, an ACE playing card would be a great reminder for you. And I think that's one of my favorite things, is we have the conversations, then you have these physical reminders, and it doesn't mean anything to anybody else, but it means something to you.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. So how is it, like, focusing some of this mindset coaching that we're doing, this mental coaching that we're doing? How have you seen a change in your daily routine, in your performance, in your mood, in your mentality, and any and all?
Yeah, so I think drastic changes. Just the way that I handle things and the way I can recognize things. I think that's never really even a skill I thought I would learn and build through this process. Is my recognizing skills is really built up in the process, not just running into the problem face on, but sort of feeling the way and recognizing the problem and being able to shift my focus, not letting the negative take over, but being able to shift towards the positive and handle the problem a lot better. So the recognition and shift of focus was really a big change for me, a really big growth for me.
Where do you see all that? And I love that you have to, before you can fix a problem or change something, you got to figure out you got to recognize what you've been doing and how you want to change that. And I think that's a huge thing that we do. Where do you see it benefiting you whenever you start to make these changes?
Making these changes, I mean, especially in the seasons for whatever sport you're in, it's long, and I mean, you're gonna need something that's gonna keep you consistently mentally level. So I think every day for practice, every day, even if it's game day or practice day, my mentality has to be my number one priority. And running into problems is something I can't really dictate or decide. So knowing how to handle those roadblocks and obstacles is really a big piece for me.
Where do you see it coming out? like some of the stuff that we've worked on, where do you see it like helping off the field?
Oh, off the field, especially. I mean, socially, I run into issues with, I don't know if I'm with friend groups, and I mean, being a teenage girl, you're going to have drama that you face. There's going to be things that show up along the way, and schoolwork that piles up. So, being a teen girl, there's always something going on in your life. And mentally, again, knowing how to handle that, knowing how to find the positive, find the way to get out of it is really key. So, that's what I've gained from this process.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, I love that. I love the idea that it's not just about the sports, but the sports is a great place for us to face those struggles and then apply that on our real life. So what do you have to say to anybody who, like an athlete that would be similar to you or not even similar to you, but an athlete that's thinking about considering some mental performance coaching? What do you have to say?
This, again, we've said this early on, it's only beneficial. And this is, you might be scared or uncomfortable with the conversation or challenges that might be brought up. But I think this is a way to find comfort that you're not alone and you have a coach to walk you through it, and you have someone who can help you plan the way and walk you through something that you might not be an expert on. So someone might be scared if they're out there scared about, I mean, this is going to spotlight my problems. This is going to spotlight my troubles. It's not really spotlighting your troubles. It's more building your strengths and being the best athlete you can. I mean, on a deeper level, more than physical.
I like that it's not just spotlighting the problems. It's making you better. And I like that. And I always say that like the awkwardness, it's absolutely always awkward. Like the first meeting for about what, 10 minutes. And then after that, it's like, it's over. Then it's just having conversations about sports and what your goals are. And it's a lot more fun then.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Remi, anything else? What did I miss? Anything else we should bring up?
No, I think that's all really good. I mean, this is only beneficial. I think anyone who's scared should really, really look at this as an opportunity.
Okay. I appreciate you coming on. Can't thank you enough. And I'll see you at the next session.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. So Remi is just one of those, she is a dream client because she puts into practice everything we do. Like when we have a session and we talk about it and I give her an assignment to work on, something to do to help her mental health and build that mental toughness, she does it. And when we talk about success, Remi is on a high school softball team right now that's currently they're 21-8, got the number 1 seed in their regional, and she is the starting catcher as a junior. And I had just seen an article. I love seeing my article. I've seen some of my athletes show up in the news and stuff. I always try to follow them, and I just see an article with Remi in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch talking about her throwing people out. And it's just like, I love it. I love seeing it. And it's what Remi is really good at. And what she talks about is she mentioned that she was starting to have a little bit of a mental block and that we came in and worked on that. And she talked about, it's not an exercise so much because every kid's a little bit different, but Remi was really interested in doing some journaling. So we would have our coaching sessions really come up with some insight and then what she wanted to really focus on. And she did a lot of journaling and still does, and that she sees that really help. And then she mentions one of her favorite things is the ACE mentality. That's something I've talked about on this show before. There are basically 3 things that we can control: the things we think, the things that we say, the things that we do. And I like to say that those are attitude, communication, and effort. And those 3 things stand for those 3 things, the things that we think, say, and do. So attitude, communication, and effort. And that became something that was really important to her. Somehow we got onto that. Well, not somehow. We were having a coaching session, and one of us, I don't even know, that's how coaching works, suggested the idea of like an ACE playing card would be a really good, in coaching, we call that structure. So she now carries around with her an ACE playing card. in her bag, and that helps her remember before every game to say, here are the 3 things I'm going to focus on this game: my attitude, my communication, my effort. I'm not going to focus on what my teammates do wrong. I'm not going to focus on what my coach maybe did that I don't like. I'm not going to focus on the umpire and things like that. Those things lead to a lot of negative anxiety feelings. She says now she's going to focus on those 3 things, and that's it. It's such a really useful tool that I share with that tool, not that exact way, but we do that tool with every athlete I work with because it's so important and so eye-opening. And I also love that Remi was here to say that, it's not about going, and that's what I was saying before about somebody who going because they say somebody needs help. It's not about showing up because you need help. It's not about highlighting your issues. It's about building strength on what you need. And that's what coaching is so positive. The mental performance coaching is so positive about, okay, here's where we are. And there may be some mental aspects, some negative aspects of where we are right now, but we're all aimed at where we're going next. And that's what we work on. And that's what we put all the time and effort into, on where we're going next and how we're going to get there. And Remi is just a great example of that. And yeah. So next up, we're getting to the hardwood into some basketball. So yeah, I know I got a lot of people that love basketball that watch the podcast. So here we go. Some basketball players coming up. What's up, Malachi? How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing good.
Yeah, I'm so excited you agreed to come on. I appreciate it. You didn't have to do that, and as you know, I don't always tell everybody. I keep it confidential, everything we do. But when you agreed to do this, I'm all for it because maybe you can help somebody else out. That's what we're all about.
Oh yeah, it's no problem. I mean, I'm happy to do it.
That's awesome, Malachi. So yeah, man, you're getting just off your team. Just you guys just made a state run in basketball. Just
Yes,
kind of
sir.
finishing up your season. That's why we've been doing some coaching around that. So
Yeah.
I know you had a great season, and I'm excited about continuing to work with you and continuing about your progress. So
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, it's helped a lot.
yeah. So give me a little bit about yourself. I know you, but everybody else doesn't know you. So introduce yourself a little bit, Malachi.
Okay, so my name is Malachi Lowe. I go to Liberty Creek High School. I'm a sophomore in high school, and yeah, I think that's just the gist of it.
And you're a hooper.
Yeah, I'm a basketball player.
He's a basketball player. All right. So you and I started, you and I have done some sessions. It's been for a couple years now, off and on. It's been a little while. So tell me some of the expectations you had for it, or if you had any expectations or some of your worries about starting this stuff.
Okay, so my expectations, like rolling into it at the time, I didn't have much confidence, and I was a little, timid whenever I was playing. So whenever I, chose to have these sessions, my goal, or like what I wanted to come out of it, was I wanted a lot more confidence. Like I wanted my confidence back. I wanted to be able to control my thoughts on the court, off the court, etc. Um, it was just mainly a confidence thing at first.
That was your main goal, was like, because I can remember it felt like something like you had your confidence and then you'd had some, I don't know if a tough season or some tough situations, and felt like you'd lost it a little bit.
Yeah, I got my confidence back. I had it picked up, but then I started to stop having the sessions. Didn't really talk about it much, and then my confidence tanked a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
I mean, it's funny. It's like you don't have to have the sessions, but if you're not working on something to keep your confidence up, it's like if you're not working on your jump shot, it's not working either. So yeah. So of all the exercises we've done, all the tools that we've done, what's been some of the things that have stuck with you that you enjoy the most?
Okay, so some of the things that I've enjoyed the most is the talking about the controllables and uncontrollables, where we had a circle, and on the inside we wrote what we could control, which I won't list them all, but just had a list of things I could control in my game. And then on the outside of the circle, I had things that I couldn't control, like playing time, refs, etc. That was one of my favorites. I still use that. And another
I think
one,
we've taken that and applied it to like
like,
so many different situations, not
mhm,
just basketball. It's like we've talked about it with a lot of things.
yeah, that one was definitely one of my favorite. We had another one. It was I don't remember the name of it, but you had me like close my eyes, imagine a place. You gave me imagine your favorite place to be, and I remember I said like in like a forest. It's raining, it's humid, you know, just your dream place. And then you gave me like a house or a
Oh
place.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
we did
do you
that. We
remember
did
what that
that
was
thing.
called?
It's something called the House of You, where it's kind of
Yeah,
like it's you
yeah.
really that one's deep, man.
That one was probably my favorite.
Really.
Yeah, I really liked that one.
What
And
what did you gain from? What do you remember that you gained from that one?
what do I remember that I
Yeah.
gained? I remember just like being able to like see myself in different ways, like not even just only as a basketball player, but seeing myself in a lot of good ways, better ways to like view myself, which is what I really liked from that.
I did too. I like that one. That's cool. I'm glad you like that one. It's that one's one of those. I never do that one the first session because it seems a little bit weird. But after you've done a few sessions and you kind of get where we're going from and you trust me a little bit, it's a really fun one.
Yeah, yeah, I really liked that one. And
Yeah.
then one of the last ones I'll mention is it was like a really long time ago, but then I started to pick it up again. I'm pretty sure I told you about it, but just writing down like about my day, good parts about my day, or like journaling. I really liked doing that.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's such a simple skill that we should do more of. Is just journaling what's going well for us. It's a good yeah.
It's a great way
Okay,
to keep up with everything, like even after the sessions. Like whenever I'm not having them, you're giving me something to keep in mind.
I think so too. That's a good one. I like that. Those are really good answers, Malachi.
Thank you.
Um, what's what's how's it changed? So since we've started done some of this mental performance coaching,
Mhm.
what changes do you see in yourself on the court, off the court, in your mindset? What do you notice?
So on the court, I'm able to like channel things a lot better or like handle situations better. For example, missing shots and not hanging my head or a ref, not getting mad about that, not getting upset about not playing as much or maybe someone yelling in the stands. I'm able to channel that a lot better. Off the court, I'm just it got me out of my comfort zone a little and being able to talk about things basketball wise, which I really liked. And yeah, that's the main stuff.
I like it. It's funny you named all those things that you're able to like. That was again, those were those uncontrollables, right?
Yeah,
And be able to recognize those things for what they are and be like, okay, I don't need to worry about those things. I need to worry about this.
yeah,
It's that's the thing. It seems so simple sometimes,
yeah. I mean,
but
sometimes it was, but sometimes it really wasn't. It was really hard.
yeah. What do you have to say for any athlete, any parent that's considering this stuff, or maybe I, I mean, I'm sure some athletes are thinking this is silly. I don't need to do this. What do you have to say about them
I
or
mean,
to
what
them?
I say is, just do it. You don't have anything to lose. You come here. I mean, you can either feel 100% better, like whatever you're wanting to gain through it from it or whatever you're looking for, you can either get that or you're still where you're at. You can't like go down from this. There's no like downfall from doing this. And then also, you know, like you've been working with a lot of people for a really long time and I feel like you really know what you're doing. And speaking from someone who has benefited a lot from doing this, I feel like, you know, do it. Very beneficial.
That's a great point. I had talked to somebody. There's another client that I talked to about this, and they said we talked about the same thing. It's not. I think some people think it's going to like mess with your head and make it worse, and it's just that's not the case.
No,
It's going to help.
it's gonna help a lot.
It's like I said, if you get in the gym and you work on your jump shot, your jump shot's going to get better. If you work on your confidence is going to get better. It's
Yeah,
just yep.
it is what it is.
All right. Anything else? Anything we missed, Malachi?
I think that was everything.
Okay.
I think so.
Good stuff, man. I sure appreciate it.
There is no problem.
All right, off season's coming. Get to work, man.
Yes, sir, I will.
All right.
All right.
So Malachi, he's been a client of mine on and off for a while, for a couple of years now, just on and off as things, as he struggles, he gets better, and a lot of that's because he's leveling up. And one of the things that Malachi's done, he's changed some teams, and also because he's gotten into high school now, but just teams have gotten a little bit better. He's changing AAU teams. They moved and he went to a different high school, and it was a little bit more competitive. Actually, his team was just in the state tournament in Tennessee. He was a sophomore on that team. And every time that he kind of changed his situation, as happens with athletes, the confidence wanes just a little bit. It goes down a little bit because every time that we level up, we get a dose of perspective of like, okay, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. It happens all the time. I see it in kids that come into high school, go into college, or switch teams, right? And it's a natural thing because we realize you want to push our kids, and we want to push ourselves to get that harder, bigger job, get that promotion, go on a bigger team, stuff like that. But then every time we do, it's like, oh, wait a minute, am I really ready for this? And that's why he's come back to me a couple different times. Parents will be like, all right, he's struggling a little bit. We need to get back in, get some sessions. And we would revisit everything we've done and build that confidence and getting back up. And I've seen Malachi go from a pretty timid kid, didn't want to shoot much, didn't want to use his abilities, to a pretty confident kid that goes out and runs a lot of point guard, gets his shots, gets his stuff. And it's like, I didn't create him as the basketball player, but when we do these skills, because he puts a lot of time and effort into gaining his skills, well, what I did was help him get the confidence to apply those skills in a game, because it doesn't do any good if you have all these skills and you don't want to do them. You're scared to shoot, scared to dribble, scared to drive, but it really helped him be okay with some failure, because you could have some failure to get, and just build his confidence up to practice and try these things. And that's something I've seen in Malachi really good. I was so surprised. I asked his favorite, and he brought up this guided imagery thing I do that has nothing to do with sports and everything to do with guided imagery. Is really good at kind of a metaphor to get out of your own head, to kind of like think about your situation differently and think about the things that influence you and how you react and things. It's a really cool guided imagery, is really cool stuff. And I didn't expect him to say that would be one of his favorite things. And it's very, very perceptive for a kid to realize how important that was and what he learned from that. And it's really good. I've seen a lot of growth in Malachi. What's really cool about Malachi is, and he didn't say this, and I hope he's all right. He'll be all right with it. We will occasionally have sessions that have nothing to do with sports. Like he will have something come up in school, relationship wise or friends wise or something like that. Be like, can we talk about this today? And we will take those same things that we talk about and apply it to it, because sports don't happen in a vacuum. And if something is bothering you off the court, it's going to bother you on the court. And Malachi realized that, and we did a lot of stuff, and it's really good. I love having it to do that. I love that he said there's no risk. Like, why not do this? It's not going to make you worse. And Remi kind of said that too. Like, it's no risk. It's trying this mental performance coaching is do nothing. It's like being worried that like you're going to go get some shots up, that it's going to make things worse. It's not. Whatever we focus on, we get better at. And if we're doing things, especially with somebody who knows what they're doing, and yes, I know what I'm doing. If you have somebody who knows what they're doing on working on this confidence stuff, the confidence is going to get better. The positive self-talk is going to get better. All these things are going to get better. It's just when we focus on something, we get better at it. That's the way it works. Okay. So yeah. So Malachi, high school kid, really good, really fun to talk to. I love having sessions with him. And now I'm going to go to one of my pro athletes, and still a basketball player, but I'll let you see it. It's amazing. I've worked from 8 years old up through pro, and it's the same stuff. When I work with coaches and parents and stuff like that, it's the same stuff. Our brains are wired the same. So it doesn't really matter the level. It's just that you're doing it and you're working on this stuff and you'll make progress. Our brains are kind of, they run on the same mechanism, right? So it's pretty cool. So here we go. Last one of 4 of the clients that I've got on here. Your athlete probably spends hours working on the specific skill set they need for their sport. And they probably spend hours in the weight room building their body. But how much time do they spend intentionally training their mind? Well, building mindset is the key to bridging the gap between the skills that we see and game execution. Well, Mental Mettle Coaching provides individual programs that can help your athlete develop this third and crucial skill set. Coaches, do you dream of guiding mentally tough athletes towards a championship? Kids that are resilient, persistent, and unshaken by setbacks. Well, in today's world, those athletes aren't born. They have to be developed. Many athletes face significant challenges and risk burnout. So how do we foster that mental toughness without overwhelming them? Well, introducing the Ember to Inferno program, Building Mentally Tough Athletes. This series is designed specifically for coaches, offering a deep dive into your own journey of mental toughness and equipping you with practical tools to build confidence and belief in your athletes. Rather than just simply adding more adversity to their life, we focus on creating a strong foundation for mental resilience. You'll learn how to transform a spark of motivation into a blazing fire of toughness, using techniques that address challenges like social media pressures, athletic stress, and trauma. Don't just wish for mentally tough athletes, build them. Join the Ember to Inferno program today and ignite the potential in your athletes. For more information, contact me, Coach Thomann, at Mental Mettle Coaching. How we doing, Ryland?
What's going on?
Hey, so I appreciate you coming on and just doing a little bit of testimonial for me here. I sure appreciate it. I know you. I've been working with you for a while, but start out by giving everybody a little bit about your name, a little bit about yourself, what you're doing now.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a professional basketball player in Nymburk, Czech Republic, playing with Nymburk basketball in the Czech National League and the BCL Basketball Champions League. So I've been over here for going on, I think this is the 9th month now. So I think it'll end up being about a 10-month stint over here in Slovakia and Czech. So it's been a good time. It's been a good year for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Whenever I ask you who you are and what you do, and you get to answer professional basketball player, that's just awesome, right?
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to say.
Yeah, it is. So give me what were some of your expectations when you jumped in to do some of this mental coaching? What were your expectations? What were your hopes? Anything? Why you decided to jump in and do it with me?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, I was kind of a big reader, so I've had like a couple tips here and there. You pick up on all the self-improvement books. But I really needed something to help me. I could implement in my life, so that was personal and um, you know, personal to me in my situation. So to when you hit me up and said you wanted to work with me, I was excited just to pick up a few things here and there. I'm always eager to learn something, especially from someone who knows what they're talking about. So.
I appreciate that. So what's some of the exercises we've done that have stuck with you and kind of how you've applied them?
hmm Yeah, well, I think the main thing is just like the questions that you ask me, make me think about things in a different perspective that I haven't really thought about. But the one tool that I did, kind of hit home for me is the controllables and uncontrollables. Just thinking about what I can affect in my life that's gonna go one way or the other for me, whether it's good or bad. Identifying them that way we can avoid them or stick to them consistently. So that was a big one for me. Just the little cues that you gave me, like behind the arc, stuff like that we talked about. Just like little reminders that what you need to do every day. Stuff like that helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing I love to say, that there's two things. It's recognition and then repetition. And if you can have those
hmm
two things going on, then you really start to make some progress. And you mentioned both of those in that, so that
Yeah.
makes me happy that you said that.
I passed the test. Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So how is it? How do you feel like some of this coaching is tweaked your mindset a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, especially this year, it was good for me just to have reminders. Like you got to have, the way you look at like the your lens on life, on your life is very, very, very important. So that was probably the biggest thing that helped me get through this year, just because the first, 5, 6 months of being over here, it was hard. So it was a lot of hard work and just being like adjusting to everything, being, adjusting to the life in Europe. It was difficult, and just to like have a different type of lens and make sure, most importantly, a positive lens on life has been, a very, big thing for me these past couple months. So that's what helped me the most.
That's cool. So what do you have to say to any athlete or parent of an athlete? I mean, you're a pro basketball player, but not everybody's a pro, right? But what do you have to say? What's the advice, or what do you have to say to an athlete or a parent, maybe considering some of this mental performance coaching?
Yeah, you never know until you try. I mean, it would never hurt to try. To pick up any type of advantage on anybody that you're competing against is, you should jump at the opportunity. So if you have the means to do it, I would absolutely do it. And especially working with you, it's been great. You're really, easy to work with. You're very encouraging. So I mean, it makes it all the more easier.
Beautiful. I appreciate it, Ryland. Thanks for the kind
Yeah, for
words,
sure.
and I wish you the best of luck. And man, when we were talking about controllables and uncontrollables, there's like you're facing so many uncontrollables. It's such a great.
Right.
It's when you get over there overseas, everything changes, man. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you never know. Literally, your life can change like at a snap of the finger. So, and that's kind of what happened with me. So, yeah, it's been great, to work with you and have those reminders for me with me every day. So, I appreciate
yeah.
that too.
No, absolutely. Appreciate you. Appreciate you with saying the kind words. So thanks a
For
lot.
sure. Absolutely. No, thank you
Thanks.
so much.
You bet. Thanks, Ryland. I really hope that I have enough loyal listeners to the show that you recognize the last guest, Ryland Holt, because I've had Ryland on the show as a guest. And that was actually before he was a client, before I actually coached him. I just had him on because I knew he was such a cool guy. I'd known him, coached against him when he was playing in high school, and he's got a great story. If you want to catch a really good podcast, it's the mindset of a late bloomer. Ryland has a really good story about how he was a late bloomer and how he kept at it, and now he's like, I forget what level it is, but like he was on the end of the bench when he was like in junior high, and now he is still playing pro ball. Here's the thing about his success. This is like, if you know anything about pro basketball, I know a little bit because my brother played pro basketball. So he got out of Division II basketball, and he was a good Division II player, but he was still Division II player. There's a lot of people in front of him as far as the pecking order goes on who gets the contracts overseas. So he signs with a team in Slovakia, the Nitro Blue Wings, brand new team. Like I think they were literally a brand new team, just started it. So, and that can always kind of be dicey. Like, yeah, you got a contract, but like, we hope this team is still here. Right. But he wanted to go do it. He went over there and he did really well. And before the season was over, he got traded, or contract got bought out to a team in Czechoslovakia, in Nuremberg. I'm sorry, Nuremberg. It's always hard to say these Czechoslovakian names, but Nuremberg, and he is on that team. And then you might say, well, what's the difference between Slovakia and Czechoslovakia? Well, it's the level that he went up. So now he's playing on a team that is in the basketball championship league. So it's a Euro league that goes all over Europe and plays. This is up a couple levels, all in a year. And I'm not taking credit for this. This all happened since like that step up all happened since I've been working with him. And so it gives me a little bit of I feel good knowing that I'm not making things worse. Right. I've never thought that, but it's like, I know that I'm helping it. I know that I'm helping it because Ryland says it helps him. And we did some really good stuff. If I can take a kid that's been all the way through college basketball and he's a reader. He's a lover of knowledge. And if I can work with a kid like that and give him some insight that he didn't have already, that makes me feel good that this stuff we're working on is really useful. And one of the things that I liked, he talked about it there, is just one, he did it because obviously he didn't need help, right? He's a really good basketball player doing really well. But he realized on that third skill set that it gave him an advantage. And he was in a situation, if you go and play overseas, worked with others and talked to like others going overseas, there's a lot of uncontrollables. Things are different and you have to be able to focus on what you can do. And he knew that would give him an advantage and he did that. And then what he said on there is really important, is something that I talk about all the time, is the importance. We do two things whenever we do this coaching stuff. One, the coaching sessions give insight, and that helps recognizing where you are and where you need to be. That's really important. I can't say that enough, is in these sessions, kids get these insight. They realize things about themselves. They recognize things about themselves. And some of those can be things they don't want to know or don't want to feel, but they know they want to get better at. And then that's where the second part comes in, and that's the repetition. Okay. And that repetition is how we get better at something. That's how the neuroplasticity works. That's how it comes into play, is because we start to get those neural pathways change, right? You want to start focusing on controllable things. You want to start working on a positive voice, right? You might recognize in a session that you need that, but then you haven't necessarily, just recognizing it doesn't help. In fact, that can make it worse if you recognize it and don't do anything about it. But you can do the repetition of all the exercises and the tools, and you'll start to change that. And all four of those athletes I talked today, I've seen it in them, right? I've seen them come into me and be struggling and really not, I don't want to say not enjoying their sport, but having moments where they were like, I don't know about this. It's really tough. And just getting so much. And I think it was Malachi said it was really cool. He's like, whatever you want to work on, you can get in one of these sessions and you can get it mentally. He's like, that's the cool thing about the coaching, is like, here's something I want to work on. We'll figure out how to get there. That's really cool. And whether that's the confidence, the positive voice, learning some gratitude, better focus, or just enhancing your goals and figuring out how to reach them, it's all there, right? It just really helps that. And it's really cool. I love this job that I do, and working with these athletes. It can be so useful. And I think that I really wanted to come on and have this episode so people can see this from the perspective of the athletes. And again, they are such great kids to come on and take these very personal, very what they have the right to be confidential, and willing to come on and say, no, it's okay. I want to talk about this because I want to help others. I want others to see this. And the fact that they trust me enough and want to share that enough, it means a lot to me to do this. These sessions that we're doing, just so if that's something you're listening to this, you're like, this is really good for my athlete. Those sessions, all these kids that I've done, it's all done virtually. It's either 45 or an hour long sessions, somewhere in there. And we just do it maybe every other week. Some of them I've been working with for a few months, some of them a little bit longer, but it does take a little bit of time. That's the thing. There's no magic wand. I could just give you a book to read, but the coaching is a little bit better because there's a little bit of accountability there. We get that recognition, we get that repetition, and they have to start working on and changing a mindset, changing those pathways. It can take a while. It's no overnight pill. Like, you can't wave a magic wand. It takes some time. You got to keep working on it. And it's just some really good stuff. I love what I do. I love this stuff. So really good kids. I've got a lot more people that will give referrals and stuff, but it's really good stuff. I love this mental performance coaching that I do because it helps kids just be their best, and not just their best on the court and on the field, but in life. And that's really good. And the parents love seeing this too. And it's just good stuff. So yeah, thanks for enduring it. I didn't want this to feel like an hour long or whatever it is, an hour long commercial, but I think that it's important enough what I'm looking at, what I'm doing. It's important enough for my listeners, just because I want, whether it's me or something else, if you've got an athlete, spend some time, effort, and even some money on developing that mental skills. It is worth the time and effort. You're going to see it. Every other skill they have gets put into place and used better to their full potential because they've got those mental skills. And it's so useful, so important. And I want you to do that. And also because I want to help athletes. I want to help parents not to be stressed, not to be anxious. I want them, and I certainly don't like seeing athletes that let it go too far and have some serious mental health issues. So I'm really trying to do my best with this and want to help. So yeah, so I enjoy this episode. I love talking to these kids. They're just great kids. So yeah, but yeah, we're out of time. I better go. I've talked enough. This has been the Mental Mettle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Matt Thomann, and always remember to forge your metal. Thanks for listening to the Mental Mettle Podcast. Don't forget to tune in every week for more insights and strategies to help you forge mental toughness and resilience. This podcast is brought to you by Mental Mettle Coaching, where we are driven by a passion for sharing knowledge and experience that empowers others to play, live, and grow with confidence. Our mission is to instill a resilient and spirited mindset in our clients, enabling them to confidently face adversity and actively seek new challenges for personal growth. At Mental Mettle Coaching, we offer individual coaching, group coaching, and professional development for schools and businesses. Whether you're an athlete, educator, or professional, we're here to help you unlock your potential and thrive in every area of life. Until next time, keep growing, stay resilient, and always remember to forge your metal.